Right here, beyond that little shack that's in between us and the airplane, we see the airplane begin to lift up off of the runway. Everything up to this point looks completely normal. There's no fire or sparks or anything coming out of the engines. We can't tell from this distance whether those leading edge slats, those flaps in the front, are out or not. And we really can't tell whether those 5-degree flaps in the back are out. Let's assume for a minute they are. Because, why? Because the pilots would have had to overcome those flashing lights in their face and those deafening horns going off in the cockpit for some explained reason to keep on going. So they get to a normal rotate spot. They come up, and the airplane naturally comes up to about 2.5 degrees as the main mounts come up off the ground. That's when in the back of the airplane you feel like a slight nose up, and then at that point the pilot, and let me run this a little bit farther. See that 2.5 degrees right there? That's 2.5 degrees. They're off the ground. Right at this point, the pilot not flying, let's call him the co-pilot for a minute. The co-pilot is going to say to the pilot flying, positive rate. That means that the main mounts are off the ground and the airplane is climbing normally. Once the co-pilot says positive rate, the pilot then at the controls says gear up. At that point, the other pilot reaches up, raises the landing gear, and gets those great big drag devices now called the landing gear up into the airplane to make the airplane more aerodynamic, make it more slick. The flaps are still out. The airplane then rotates up to about 10 to 12.5 degrees up, and that's when in the back you feel it's like, wow, are we a rocket ship? We're going straight up. The airplane has plenty of lift over the wings, has plenty of thrust going on, and now those big landing gear, the drag devices now have been brought up into the airplane, and man, it takes off like a rocket. That part never happens. Right here, as we're looking at this airplane, the gear should be coming up into the airplane. It never does. Let me play it a little bit longer, and then I'm going to tell you why I think it didn't. Right there is a point where the pilot flying would normally bring the airplane up to about 12 degrees nose up. The gear should be almost completely up into the airplane at this point. It hasn't budged an inch. You're going to see on a 787, the ends of the wings start to bend a little bit. They usually bend a lot more than this airplane. Why? Because as the airplane is picking up speed and it's picking up lift over those wings, those composite wings really bend. That is an indication, a visual indication, they're really getting a lot of lift. This 787 is not getting a lot of lift right now. But nothing's going on with the engines as far as I can see. Now, let me continue with this. At this point, watch the nose. It starts to go